A dream is a wish your heart makes. This is one of my all-time favorite quotes from Cinderella, and today we're talking about how to make your wedding dress dreams into a reality. Welcome back to our third episode. Today we are going to be talking about how to help you along the process and the journey of finding your perfect wedding dress. It can be an extremely overwhelming experience. There's tons of magazines, social media, we all have those favorite reality TV shows all about weddings and wedding dress shopping, and we're looking for those moments. So what can we do to help us have that experience that we envision? So you just said yes to your fiance, the most important yes, but now what steps do you need to do to say yes to a dress? I would say number one, you gotta set that budget. You have to know how much you want to spend on that dress, how much you can spend on that dress. So for me personally, when I was getting married, my husband and I, we sat down, we made an Excel spreadsheet, and we said, okay, based on our savings right now and the people that are going to be putting into our wedding budget, this is how much money we have, how do we want to divide it up? We were pretty much paying for everything. The one exception was my dad wanted to pay for my dress. So we knew that that was going to be a separate amount that he would take over, and we didn't include that in the rest of our budget. So how much should you put aside for the dress itself? This is a very complicated question. The simple answer is it's recommended 10 to 15% of your budget minimum, but the reality is most decent wedding dresses are starting no less than 200. I'd say 500's a better option, and that's more if you're looking for a used or a sample gown. 800 is a better, 800 to 1,000 is probably a better starting point. I know our other local bridal shop here that sells new dresses, their average is 12 to 1,700. So there's so many varieties. You really have to look at your area, kind of get an idea of the average price. We sell used dresses, so that helps us be a little lower in cost, but even some of our used dresses are still $3,000. If you're wanting a custom-made dress, $2,000. Start there. I wouldn't go less than that. Okay, so now for that part that everyone loves, we're going to start actually looking at wedding dresses. And we're going to start with using these lovely devices that we all have at our fingertips. Pinterest and Instagram are wonderful social media resources. I'm sure some of us, set up that wedding board vision from when you're 12 years old. You can either go back to that. It's always fun to look back at those and see how much your style's changed. Or you can start just a completely new board if you haven't already set one up. I would make sure you have a section specifically for your outfit. So you can put your veils and your shoes and those things all into one so you can see it all kind of together. And you're going to start just pinning dresses that you like. And knowing what your budget is in the back of your head can help you kind of know what you should be looking at. So something like you see right here, lots of beading. Just keep in mind, the more bling, normally the more expensive it is, just because that's more time and it's going to be more expensive. If you're not into Pinterest, you don't have a Pinterest, but you have an Instagram, you can also start looking there. There's ways to save and create boards there too. I would definitely, again, suggest keeping everything in a folder of what you like. There's plenty of dress shops that do fun videos on showcasing their different dresses, so you can start following designers and bridal shops and get an idea of what you like. And then if you find one, like a very specific one you like, you can start looking for that dress to try on. So now that you've started to gather those ideas and you kind of think you know what you want, now it's time to go find a place to try the dresses on. Even if you're planning to buy online, I would highly, highly recommend that you still go try dresses on. There's lots and lots of reasons for that we'll explain in a minute. But how do you choose where to go? This is where you can start looking at those shops that you were following on Instagram. You can look at who is posting the dresses on Pinterest or just do a Google search. And so once you've started looking at websites, I would highly encourage you to also go ahead and book appointments. Some shops do accommodate walk-ins, but they can't guarantee that you'll get a consultant. And the reason you want that bridal consultant is they have experience helping you to take those inspiration photos, and they know the inventory in their shop as well as what's available and how you might be able to tweak a dress that they have to actually be what you want. So for me personally, when I have a bride come in, I find that my experience as a seamstress is even more helpful. A bridal consultant has normally had training in what a seamstress can and can't do if they aren't a seamstress themselves, because you might see a dress and you go, oh, I love this, but I really don't want these sleeves. And we can say, oh, well, that's no problem, those sleeves can easily come off. Or they can say, although those sleeves can come off, these are the things to be aware of and help you know whether you want to commit to that dress with alterations or whether you want to keep looking. The other thing kind of along that line is just to really trust your consultant and try to stay open-minded, because just because you say, I don't want, let's say you don't want a high-necked dress or any dress that has any kind of collar on it. The consultant might have something that has the other elements that you are looking for, and it'll allow you to see how those fit on your body, and who knows, maybe you do put on that dress and you absolutely love it. When I was trying on dresses, my family really wanted to see me in the puffy ball gown that was on the mannequin right next to me, and I put it on. And the reason was, growing up, I was in love with Cinderella. And they're like, that's totally what 12-year-old you would have picked. And they were so right about that, and I knew it. And so I went ahead and I put the dress on. In this case, it confirmed my fear. I looked like a 12-year-old. I am constantly mistaken for being younger than I am. I did not want to look younger on my wedding day. I wanted to look old enough to be getting married. So that being said, I also had a bride come in last bridal season, so about last June, with the complete opposite experience. Her mom wanted to see her in just this fairy tale ball gown, and so to just kind of appease her mom, she's like, okay, I'll put it on. She put on this, it was a gorgeous gown. It fit her pretty much like a glove. We had to only do minor alterations like a hem and a slight adjustment to the bust. And it had these beautiful, like 3D flowers, very much fairy tale ball gown, and it was the complete opposite of what she thought she wanted, and she fell in love with it, and it made for her perfect wedding dress. So that is also another important thing to consider. So in both cases, I talked about our family kind of giving us a little pressure and advice on what dresses to try. So making sure that you have a very supportive entourage is really important. And also probably limiting that. A lot of bridal shops do have a max number of guests that you're allowed to bring. Sometimes you can book a more exclusive appointment that allows you to bring more, but still you don't want too many conflicting opinions. So really thinking about who you're bringing and how they can help. When I was trying on dresses, it was during COVID, I could have 2 guests present, so I had my maid of honor and my mom there. And then my mom was on a video call with both my sister and an aunt. So I had 4 people. The ones on the phone were not like super opinionated because that was really hard. But they were really good, everyone there, about asking me questions. How do you feel? What do you like about it? They were not good about giving their opinion at all, so sometimes I wanted either validation and they weren't willing to give it. So that's another thing to think about. If you're someone that needs or wants that validation, make sure you have someone that's going to give it. In my case, they were trying to get me to validate myself, which is an important skill. In addition to who you bring, what you bring is also important. It is really highly advised when you go dress shopping that you make sure you have either nude or white undergarments so that you're not seeing them through the dress. Dresses are white, even though there are lots of layers. If you wear neon pink underwear, everyone else in the shop will probably know it. So just keep that in mind when you're trying dresses on. If you're planning to wear any kind of shapewear, then make sure to bring that as well. And it's advised that if possible to bring shoes that are similar to what you're planning to wear. They can affect your posture. So when you wear a heel, it affects the way your body sits, so just keep all of that in mind. Do your best to bring what you have, but ultimately just making sure you don't have any bright or dark colored undergarments. And then finally, when you're going shopping, just remember that you know what you want better than anyone else does, and to trust your instincts, and to remember that this day is about you and your fiance, and you're the opinion that ultimately matters. How you feel in the dress is the most important thing. So if it makes you happy, then that's probably your dress. You may or may not cry, everyone's different. Don't be looking for those cues, but listen to your heart and listen to your instincts, and just really be so excited when you do find your dress, because that's a huge accomplishment. Thanks for watching. Next month we are going to be going over the anatomy of a wedding dress, or a dress in general. So make sure to follow along so that you know the terminology to better communicate your desires with your consultants. Also, go ahead and leave in the comments your horror and success stories of your wedding dress shopping experience, and make sure to like and subscribe for more content. Have a shimmering day.